now, actually. I might as well show DED right now. Okay, so DED, I'm gonna explain it in a little bit when I get into the game, but the basic gist of it is that mainly characters that can go into super with a normal, that it's relatively safe. So, for example, well, actually, let me go over it really quick. Explain what the idea is, and you know, you guys will see it. So what I'm gonna do is, okay, I'm gonna build my meter. Well, first I'm gonna explain something. So obviously in Third Strike, when you press normals, they build meter. Now, obviously, when you hit somebody, they also build meter too. Now, the difference is when you get a different amount of meter when either they block or if it gets hit. And same thing with parry too. You get a different amount of meter. So, if the opponent is gonna get hit by a normal, that's the amount of meter that you'll get from the normal that will hit. Now, if the opponent was to block, which you will see, it's about half. It's about half as much meter. Now, using that concept with supers, let me just build meter. The basic idea is, if a low forward would hit, I would go directly into super because I have enough meter for it, if it were to hit. But if it was to be blocked, I won't have enough meter for it. So from this amount of meter, maybe even a little less, I will have the perfect amount for DED, which is the technique that's being described. So, and right there, I can just throw out the normal and go into the super, and I wouldn't have anywhere in the world. Now, the difference is, if I have that same amount of meter, but she blocks it, I don't go into super. So basically the idea is, you just buffer the super, just buffer it if you have that amount of meter, and if it hits, then you go into super. If it doesn't, then you get a block. And that's the basic idea of it, but let me see if I can, like, just test your instincts, your meter management instincts. Let's see something. So I'm just gonna build meter. Okay, right here. Do I have enough meter for DED here? After a standing strong hits? Of course. And that just shows right there that that's bad meter management, because I did it just enough so that it gave me the bar either way. So now with a little less, we'll see how it works. So let's do standing jab into low forward. Well, actually 2 standing jabs. Actually 2 low shorts is better. No. No. Here is much better. Maybe. And as you can see, you really have to make sure that your meter is perfectly aligned, or else you'll mess it up. So, but yes, the basic idea is that you just have to buffer the super. If it hits, then you get the super, and if it gets blocked, you'll be fine because you didn't build enough meter for the super. So. Too much. And right there, it's not enough. 1, 2. That's enough. 1, 2. So yeah, and I just do it right there. So build enough meter. 1, 2. On block, it's not enough. On hit, it's perfect. Now you can do this with many characters. I mean, you can do this with Alex. It's perfect because you could do the same concept. Yeah, let's try it. Let's try it this way. Too much. So yeah, you just have to make sure that you have proper meter management. Maybe this is good enough. Nope. Just a little bit more. Yeah. So I do the same thing. Basically, standing jab. If it hits, then I get super automatically, but if it doesn't, then I get EX. So obviously I'm going into super, and all I get is EX. But if I wait, and if it hits, so see? That's the basic idea with DED. I mean, it's good with certain characters, but the only problem is with characters like Ryu or Akuma, who have supers that, you know, that are basically the same as the special that they have. So for example, it has the same motion as a fireball. So you can't really do it because if you do, then you get a fireball if you get nothing, and the opponent can easily punish that. So let me show you. So right here, if it gets blocked, I go into fireball. Now that's okay when the opponent doesn't have any meter, or in certain scenarios it's okay if the opponent doesn't have any meter, but at a high level scenario it's not really that useful because the opponent can simply just red parry the fireball. So the good thing about it is that he can still go into DED if it hits. But if it gets blocked, you go into the fireball. So that's the only downside to it, you know, depending on what character you use. So with Akuma and Ryu, it's semi-useful, but it's a little risky. Same idea for Dudley with his corkscrew or something. You can simply do it, but if you don't get enough meter for it, then you'll go into his machine gun blow, which is highly punishable. So, and the same concept applies with Yang. So you just have to make sure that you do it with a character that doesn't have the same motion, doesn't have the same special motion as a super, pretty much. So for example, with Yang, his super motion is with quarter circle forward kick. Exactly. So yeah, it's a pretty simple concept, but I mean it's all meter management, pretty much. Also be careful, Chun-Li is also another character that can do it, so be extremely careful against her. Another reason why you guys should watch her meter. Because she is definitely one of those characters that can do this. See? So if she blocks it, and now you can see the amount of meter that's different. Like if it hits after the low jab, I get enough for a super. But you can see the difference in meter that she gets from a block. So you can apply that same concept to other characters if you know how much meter they get from block or hit. So actually, she doesn't have to. So she can just do it after a low jab, and yeah. So that's another reason why low forward with these certain characters are pretty strong in this game. So always be sure to remember that. So the DED technique. So if you plan on using it, make sure obviously it's again with characters that don't have special moves the same as their supers, or actually specials that are unsafe with their supers. So for example with Elena is kind of like, so for example with hers, you do it with kick, like quarter circle forward kick, but her special for that is the rhino horn. So if you mess it up, you might be a little unsafe. So let's try. Or maybe not. Actually, it works pretty okay with her. Just as long as you don't do it too fast. See, like that. So if you buffer slower, then it's kind of okay. So yeah, so one. But if you do it a little fast, so yeah, that's the DED technique. So anyways, hope you guys are enjoying that, and be sure to check out the Teespring store while you guys are enjoying all these videos. And be sure to check out the Fight Club 2 event, which is on February 28th. And more information on that will be coming soon.